Yo, what is going on, Headliner Nation? It's your boy, The Doc, and we are back with another injury show. This time we're talking about situations I think you need to know about heading into week 9 for fantasy football. Let's jump into it. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of the episode, just want to take a moment and talk about Skattebo and his injury. He has an ankle fracture and dislocation. We've seen this quite a few times over the years. Most recently, probably the most comparable situation is Chris Godwin. We've seen how that has played out this year. We'll talk about Skattebo more in the offseason, but for now, we just wish him the best in his recovery. Obviously droppable in all formats except for Dynasty. If you've got him on your team, there's no point in putting him on IR. He will not be returning this year. Now, let's talk about a couple guys that are on bye this week. First up, we got Quinshon Judkins. He's got an AC sprain. He's considered day-to-day for the Browns, and if for some reason he would not be able to make it back after their week 9 bye, Dylan Sampson would probably step into the role with Jerome Ford, complimenting him on early downs. Again, not great options, but we saw when Judkins was getting kind of acclimated to the team early in the season, Dylan Sampson did have some value in PPR leagues. So if he's out there on waivers, you can probably pick him up pretty cheap. And if for some reason Judkins were to miss some significant time, you would have somebody that you could theoretically throw in as a flex play, especially in PPR leagues. Now, let's talk about Saquon Barkley. He has a groin strain. No official timeline for him yet, but the team is on a bye this week, so there is some time before you have to really make a decision on this, but it's hard to say for sure how bad this injury is. The team was up 31-13 when this happened, so it's possible that this is not a major issue, but anytime we see a soft tissue injury, especially for a major player like Saquon Barkley, we get concerned. With the team being on a bye, it's possible that Tank Bigsby is still floating around on waivers. If you have Saquon Barkley and you want to have a safety valve to plug and play, if he were to miss time, it looks like Tank Bigsby would be the guy for your fantasy squads. Next, let's move into a couple receivers that are expected to return this week. First up, we got Brock Bowers dealing with a knee sprain, and then Puka Nacua dealing with an ankle sprain. Of the two, I think I trust Nacua more coming back than I trust Brock Bowers. We just don't really know what exactly is going on with Brock Bowers' knee, and because of that, his snap count is kind of a mystery. The team is expecting him to play this week. The question I have is how much and what happens if the game goes awry, which we have seen happen many, many times with the Raiders already this season. Will they pull him early if the team is not playing very well? And that is not ideal. It's not what you want to see for fantasy, but it does sound like he is going to be able to return this week. So if you have him and you took him in the first or second round, you're probably throwing him back into your lineups, especially with some of the other minor guys later in the drafts kind of falling off to the wayside with injuries of their own. Now, Puka Nacua, on the other hand, you are throwing into your lineups. I didn't think on video this ankle injury that he's dealing with looked that severe at the time. I was kind of a little surprised that he missed week 7, but he got 2 weeks off. He's coming off of a bye. I think it's very possible that we see him step right back into that elite fantasy asset category, and you're just not going to sit Puka Nacua for very long, and there's really no reason to, because by all accounts, he is 100% healthy, or at least as close to it as you can be 9 weeks into the season. Next, let's talk about a guy that's already been ruled out for week 9, but I think has major implications for the next month, and that's Terry McLaurin with a quad strain. Now, this appears to be a re-injury of the quad strain that cost him the 4 games prior to his week 8 return. He looked good coming back, but tweaked his quad again. It is possible that this is just a mild setback, that he'll only miss this week and then be back after that. But I do get concerned when I see quad injuries or hamstring injuries that are recurrent. Usually what happens is the recurrency is worse than the initial injury, and the team, well, they just tend to be very careful with these types of players. The Commanders' season is already kind of off the rails from what they expected, and I would not be surprised if they keep him out multiple weeks as he recovers from this re-injury of his quad. They have a bye in week 12, so I think at the latest we see him come back after that in week 13, which would be right around the time for the fantasy playoffs. If you want to hold on to him, I don't blame you for that. I'm probably not dropping him in a situation like this, but it does sound like it could be week to week and could even last that long. In the meantime, we're looking at Zach Ertz, Deebo Samuel, both kind of getting bumps in their production. They should continue to lead the team pretty heartily in targets, and that is a good thing because Jaden Daniels is expected to return this week and should be able to give the whole passing game a boost, specifically though Deebo Samuel and Zach Ertz. By the time you're watching this, we've already seen Lamar Jackson return to the field, but what about J.J. McCarthy coming back for the Vikings? I mean, it took Carson Wentz's shoulder basically exploding on national television for the Vikings to remember that J.J. McCarthy was supposed to be the starter from week 1 on. I mean, he is coming back from what is for sure a very, very serious high ankle sprain that cost him 6 full weeks. It's a real injury for sure. Very detrimental to him. I know he finished the game in week 2. This was definitely not a benching, though. He had a high ankle sprain. He is returning from it. So we will see what happens when it comes to them playing on the field with J.J. McCarthy now at quarterback. To say that I'm concerned for Justin Jefferson would be an understatement, though. The last time we saw J.J. McCarthy, he did not look ready to play in the NFL, but hopefully after a full 6 weeks off with his very serious, very real high ankle sprain, we will see him come back and look to be the quarterback that a lot of people expected him to be in his first year as a full-time starter. I want to take a moment to thank our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Look, I get it. Sometimes your fantasy season just doesn't go the way that you expected it to. Maybe your best receiver got hurt in the first week of fantasy. Maybe you just didn't make good lineup decisions, but that doesn't mean that you have to stop playing fantasy football. You can head over to our friends at Underdog Fantasy and be a part of the action each and every week. They have great contests going right now where you can win some serious cash playing fantasy football every single week of the NFL season. Make sure you use the code HEADLINERS when you head over there and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash on your first deposit. Again, use the code HEADLINERS and let them know that we sent you. Finally, the last situation we're looking at is more of a defensive situation, but it has some offensive implications going forward. And that's, what does the Broncos pass defense look like now that Pat Surtain is dealing with a major pec injury? He's expected to miss multiple weeks with this pec strain. It's not expected to keep him out for the entire season, but I would not be surprised if we see him miss over a month with this type of strain. And the Broncos are currently ranked 7th in passing yards allowed per game at just 186 per. So I'll be watching closely to see how Nico Collins, coming back from a concussion this week, looks against the Broncos. Now, my guess is that this could be a potential blow-up game for Nico Collins. I don't think that the Broncos have somebody that can defend him. And if the Texans are looking to exploit this new look defense, I would not be surprised if we see Nico Collins rack up a ton of yardage, maybe even a touchdown or 2 against this new look Broncos pass defense. And again, it tells us going forward, if this is maybe a situation where we don't have to avoid players playing the Broncos like we may have had to for the first 8 weeks of the season. All right, guys, that's all I got for you this week. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button down below. It helps us out a ton. It's free. And if you haven't already, why are you not subscribed to the channel? We are putting out great content each and every week for you guys, and we're trying to win some fantasy championships here. So hit the subscribe button. Help us get to our next major milestone, which I believe is 300,000 subscribers. Again, want to thank everybody at Headliner Nation. If you want to be a member of Headliner Nation, help the channel out even more, hit the join button down below. You get exclusive access to our Discord channel, which helps you get up-to-date information on all the injury updates for the season, as well as information from Jake and Kyle that you will not see on the channel each and every week. And you can be a part of our member live streams as well Sunday mornings. I've been popping in the chats. I've been seeing Kyle do some great work on the live stream. So make sure, if you haven't already, and if you want to, become a member of Headliner Nation today. That's all I've got for you this week, and we will see you next time.
Nation.